and here I arrived as Karl Anderson Jr., the least likely name for a nice Jewish boy.
Calvin, Donna, Ralph, Norma, Vera, Marc. In the world of fashion, people love to call everyone by one name. When someone says Michael, we know they're referring to only one person, Michael Kors. But who is Karl Anderson? How about Chuckles? Those were the names of a cute Swedish Jewish boy from Long Island, who eventually became known as the fashion icon Michael Kors. On the 40th anniversary of his extraordinary brand, let's watch my friend Michael share his story about how he knew, even at age 5, that there could only be one Karl in fashion. Here is the first episode of Becoming Michael Kors. Tell us about your mom, Joan, who I think is the best fashion mom in the business, and your dad, Karl Anderson.
Well, my mom had me when she was, other way around. My mom had me when she was 20, so she was a young mom, and she grew up on Long Island. She lived in Brooklyn and then grew up on Long Island, moved when she was a teenager, and met my dad, and it was the 50s, and he was this blonde, crew-cutted wrestler, and she was a nice Jewish girl, and I think he seemed a little dangerous, probably, and I think my grandparents were having a nervous breakdown. And the next thing you know, they eloped, and my dad was going to college. He was on a wrestling scholarship, and here I arrived as Karl Anderson Jr., the least likely name for a nice Jewish boy.
We'll get there. We'll move to that.
And my dad, my dad and my mom, we were living in Michigan, Kalamazoo, glamorous. I was a baby, so I don't have fond memories of Kalamazoo. I have no memories of Kalamazoo.
But what did the house, the environment you grew up in at that early age look like? Did that inform your design aesthetic in any way?
Well, I think what's interesting, my mom got divorced from Karl Anderson when I was really small.
2 years old.
I was 2, and so I don't remember any of it. But then we came back to New York, and suddenly we were with my very indulgent, very fashion-obsessed, very style-obsessed Jewish grandparents.
We're going to get to be in a second. Wait.
So I Kalamazoo to the 5 towns. It was a big switch.
Did you stay in touch with your biological father after they were divorced?
No, I didn't. And what's interesting, then my mom started dating my stepfather very shortly thereafter.
Bill Kors.
Bill Kors. So he was really the dad who I knew and who I grew up with.
So when she married him 5 years later, obviously your name changed to Kors, but you didn't like Karl Kors?
Well, it's a little bit of a crazy thing. Well, listen, we all know in fashion there's only like one Karl.
But you were 5 years old.
I somehow had a premonition that maybe I would leave it to him.